Welcome to the World of Sports podcast, everybody. I'm your host, John Colar, along with my two co-hosts, Eddie and Braxton. So a lot of stuff happened in the NFL specifically over the past weekend. So we just gonna go ahead and hop straight into it. You know, Particularly one game I want to talk about was that Monday night game. Dallas Cowboys came out and they rolled over Tampa Bay, and we got to see a Dallas Cowboy team, a version of a Dallas Cowboy team that we ain't seen in a minute. So I just want to get y'all thoughts on that game and how y'all think it went, and another thing I want to know what y'all think about Tom Brady's future. Do y'all think like he gonna retire? Depending on because of the way he lost, or is he gonna go somewhere else, like potentially Las Vegas? That's the top team everybody been saying.
I think the game went completely different than how I thought it was going to go. I thought it was going to be a close game. I thought Brady would have, one of those heroic games where, it came down to the last couple of minutes and, he would pull it out in the end. But they didn't look prepared at all. The defense was just giving up plays, big play after big play. On the Cowboys side, it looked like, they just had the perfect game plan. Everything that they was doing was working. So I mean, from their point of view, I think that they have a real good chance moving forward if they can beat the 49ers to make it to the Super Bowl. Because that team right there looked like a Super Bowl contending team. And as far as Brady's future, I don't know. I really don't know. I think that if he's gonna come back to this same team, he might as well just stay at the house because this ain't it.
All right, I agree for a few of his points, but I don't think that Dallas really looked that good. I just think it was that Tampa Bay really just sucked, and their team, especially the defense, wasn't built this year to really go far in the playoffs. And you can't win without defense really in this league nowadays. So um, Tom Brady definitely played lower than we accustomed to seeing. So that was a low point for me because I expected to see him continue his greatness, but I guess for the time is catching up with him and starting to see him decline. So as for Tom Brady's future, I don't know if he gonna be coming back. I hope he come back because he did just leave his wife and kids to come back to football. So hopefully he wasn't for no reason. So hopefully we see him on another team or just they give him some more pieces in Tampa Bay so he can stay and they can have another shot. Because I think if he have another team built to win, I think he has what it takes and the leadership and determination to win and just pull his guys together. But I don't think Dallas is all that. But I do think they have a pretty good chance, but I can't see them win it all. Because everything really lies on their defense. And it starts with Michael Parsons and even the way Tampa Bay was playing, you see Trayvon Diggs continue to get beat, and I think they're gonna come back to home when they play a real team. So I'm not too happy about Dallas.
What about you, John?
Yeah. Really for me, I kind of really and truly in my head, I really knew that it was gonna go down like this just because the simple fact, we watched Tampa Bay all season, and Tampa Bay, like, they really wasn't a good football team from the start of the season. They had their first win against the Cowboys to start the season off, but from that point forward, they ain't really looked that good. So I kind of figured, Cowboys was gonna do their thing. I didn't think that it was gonna be that type of game, they was gonna blow them out. But I did think that, it was gonna be a close game, but the Cowboys are going to ultimately come out with the victory. And as far as Brady, I mean, just the type of player he is and the type of competitor he is, I wouldn't be surprised if he do decide he want to come back. But like, as far as me, like Ryan Clark said on Twitter, like who would actually want Tom Brady, that version of Tom Brady that we seen in the playoff, in that playoff game as the quarterback? I think that for him, it would have to be the right situation, with the O-line and having the right pieces around him for him to come back. That would be the only way I would come back if I was him. It would have to be like a perfect situation. As far as the Cowboys, we're gonna get into more of, their division round matchup. But like I said, as far as them, the offense is good, but as far as them being able to make the Super Bowl, the defense is going to have to play in a way that we know that they're capable of playing. And some days they decide to take days off. We seen that in the last game against Washington the last week of the season. So they can't afford to take games off, especially not against this opponent that they're about to face this weekend. So it's really just gonna be about, if the defense gonna be able to stand up to the challenge. And like I said, it all runs through Michael Parsons. But as far as and I'm gonna comment on that remark you made about Trayvon Diggs, like as far as him, he always gonna get beat because that's just the style of play he play. He an aggressive corner, so like he gonna get beat. They just gotta be able to make up for it on the back end as far as the safeties and make sure that the other side on opposite of him is locked down because they had some issues there too. But I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder, I wonder how long the Cowboys can keep this play up. I know, I seen a stat that once they lose one game, they go on a 4-game win streak. It's a pattern that they've been having. So 4 wins will get them a Super Bowl. So I mean, we'll see if that happens. But I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see if they can keep this play up. Just because, unlike what Eddie was saying, I feel like this was a complete game from them. Besides the field goal kicking, that was ridiculous. Dude missed four field goals. That's just unheard of in an NFL game. You get paid to do that during a whole week of practice. That's all you worked on, and you couldn't even do that. So I understand the frustrations on the team, but if they can clear that up, I feel like this is their best chance they ever had in this whole past 10 years to win a Super Bowl. That's what I think.
All right. A little pushing it.
Yeah.
That team, Dave Brown.
I mean, I think that the competition moving forward, it's just they don't really
But they ain't never really had a defense like they got this year, though. Like, their defense is elite. The defense, they ain't really had a defense that they had like they had in the past 2 years, really, since Dan Quinn been their defensive coordinator. So I think that's what make them, a complete team and have, because their offense is prolific. We know that what their offense is going to do. Their offense is going to put up points. It's just the fact that they have a defense to complement it. I can agree with Braxton. Like, this their best chance that they've had in a minute.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I also feel like it's not really a true juggernaut in the NFC. I don't think it's really one team. I feel like I just fear tremendous.
I mean, for me, it could kind of be like that for San Francisco, but at the same time, you gotta understand, their defense is gonna do what they gotta do. Their offense is gonna do what they gotta do because they got all these weapons. But at the same time, you gotta understand, Brock Purdy is a rookie quarterback, and he's gonna make mistakes at times. So that's my only concern with them. Is he gonna be able to play mistake-free football when it matters the most against the good teams? That's what I'm trying to see with them. But other than that, like you said, there ain't really no juggernaut because the Eagles the #1 seed, but they're beatable. I mean, the Saints beat them. Obviously they didn't have Jalen Hurts, but shit, the week before they put up 34 points.
Yeah.
They put up 34 points on the Cowboys. So I mean, hey, I don't think there's no real juggernaut. The Cowboys got a real shot for real.
Yeah. But I mean, going to the 49ers side in their game versus the Seahawks, what did y'all take away from that game? What did y'all see from Brock Purdy that y'all think could carry on throughout the playoffs?
He's poised, bro. Like, he don't let the moment is not too big for him. He gonna play his style of play regardless. He gonna make the right decisions so far from what I've seen. He's gonna make the right decisions. And, with the type of offense that San Francisco run, he don't really need to be a playmaker, He just need to be that type of game manager that's gonna get the ball and play mistake-free football. And, the moment not being too big for him, I think that's helping him out a lot as far as a team and offense standpoint, because he ain't putting them in harm's way. So yeah, that's something I think he can build up off of as they keep progressing in the playoffs.
I agree, but I also don't think they ain't really played nobody like they played the Seattle Seahawks, and I think they should have lost. But Seattle ain't gonna play in the second half, which really upset me because I wanted to be a better game than what it was. Because it was tight in the first half. Seahawks was playing good. Then came out and just laid over. So I wish they would have played like they played in the first half, made them more competitive, and probably would have even won. If they just maintained keeping CMC in check and Kittle. But I don't know what they did at halftime. Coach must ain't giving no speech or nothing because they ain't come out with no fight, bro. It was sad. So
Yeah. One thing I was proud of for the 49ers was their ability to make adjustments. And then not only that, but like the pieces that they have, like it's just weapons everywhere. Like and they have the proper game plan to make all those weapons like fit together. Like I think that's a thing that Kyle Shanahan should be commended about. But I do think like we were saying about the Cowboys, they also got a good shot, too. I mean, it's gonna be a real good game to see who can come out on top and who can play the most mistake-free football in that game. I feel like whoever makes the least amount of mistakes, that's who's gonna win that game because it's gonna be close. I feel like. What y'all think?
Yeah, 100%, 100%, and it's gonna be interesting to see who can really play mistake-free football because Dak Prescott been leading the league in interceptions, and he missed 5 games to start out the season. So it's gonna be interesting if he can keep up that performance that he had against Tampa Bay and play mistake-free football. Because if not, if he starts turning the ball over like we've seen him do this season, it's gonna be hard to beat the 49ers if San Francisco don't turn over the ball, for sure.
I think from the see what Brock Purdy about, because if Michael Parsons get the touch on him, we go see him. He got to move. He got to make some shake. So I think he's finna finally have a test. So if he can play test, then I think they can win the Super Bowl.
That's really a matchup I'm waiting to see, though. Michael Parsons against Trent Williams,
They ain't gonna match him up. He could be walking around. He ain't gonna go over there.
Man, I don't know. He gonna play on that edge. He gonna have some matchups against Trent Williams. That's gonna be interesting to see.
He go because he's not gonna put himself in a position to lose. I think he go pick him apart. He like walking around, blitz in the middle, blitz in the other side, opposite of Trent Williams. But Trent Williams a dog, man. So
man, he is. But Michael Parsons ain't want to back down from no challenge either, though, bro. He gonna do his thing.
I think the coach is gonna try to put him in position too.
Man, that boy, he gonna be matched up. I can't believe that they ain't gonna match him up with him at least a couple times throughout the game. They gonna get him that matchup because he gonna want the matchup. Michael Parsons gonna want the match. He gonna tell the coach he want the matchup. That's just the type of player he is. So I think they're gonna match him up at least a couple times, and that's gonna be interesting to see because that's really like best against best, really. If you Trent Williams, he get out there, bro.
Yeah, but speaking of mistake-free football, let's get to a quarterback who's making a bunch of mistakes through 4 interceptions, I believe, in the first half of the game. We're talking about Trevor Lawrence here, Jacksonville Jaguars, who won the game versus the Chargers. I mean, in the beginning of the game, it did not look like they had a chance at all. What do y'all have to say about Trevor Lawrence's character to turn that game around and win by 1 point?
I mean, it's really just crazy if you think about it, bro. Like, come on, this man threw 4 interceptions and the Chargers couldn't put him away. Like, come on, bro. They scored what? What they had 27? What they had 28 at halftime, 27 at halftime. They scored 3 points for the rest of the game. Like, come on, bro. That's ridiculous, bro. You scored 3 points in one whole half, bro. Like, come on. They obviously it's like almost like they wanted the Jaguars to win, bro. Cause like what kind of play calling was the offense doing, So that's crazy. But I think Trevor Lawrence just been able to bounce back from that and being able to win it with his team to a victory. That's just showed, the type of player he is. He gonna stick with it regardless of how things going, good or bad. So I'm glad they got a playoff win. Just because of all the stuff that they went through last year with Urban Meyer. So Doug Peterson turned that thing around, man. And it's good to see him be able to get a playoff win.
Man, I feel bad for all Chargers fans, bro. Some Chargers fans went to sleep at halftime, woke up mad. They just furious, man. I don't blame them because you should be able to go to sleep and wake up, knowing you got going to sleep with a big lead. Wake up in the next round, but no, they come out 3 points and Jaguars winning the last drive. Heartbreaking loss, man. I have a friend that I teased at halftime, because he's a big diehard Jaguars fan, and I told him they shouldn't even been in the playoffs because they're in the worst divisions, and they somehow made it to the top, being one of the worst teams in the league still. So, they was lucky to be there. So, I was messing with because I just don't like him, and he called me back at the end of the game, talking this mess, and I couldn't even say nothing. I tried to give him his props and wish him the best. But hopefully they can pull off a miracle and beat Kansas City. So I can hear everybody talk about that. That would be lovely for me. They already know. Man, what else?
Ain't happening, bro. Sorry to tell you, Jaguars ain't got enough, bro. I'm sorry, them boys about to get slaughtered. I'm telling you. It ain't happening, bro. It ain't happening. The Chargers different breed. Chargers ain't.
The Chargers ain't beating the Chiefs. The Chargers will beat the Chiefs. You know that.
Chargers ain't the Chiefs, bro. Chargers ain't the Chiefs. Hey, and guess what? Andy Reid, he ain't about to blow that game up 28-7 at halftime. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It ain't happening. So
I feel like this was a big game for Trevor Lawrence, obviously, but I feel like for me personally, I have been writing him off this whole year. I ain't gonna lie, because it seemed like they would win games, but it seemed like it would be more so on the defense making plays at the end of games. And then, he wouldn't get the credit for it, but it shows up on the wins. So it looked like they were having a better season, or he was having a better season than he was. And then, I feel like that was just a moment of truth for him. I feel like at that point at halftime, he was just like, man, if I don't do it here, then they just gonna be talking so much trash about me that I gotta turn it around. And I feel like at that moment, to be able to do that shows a lot of what like you said, John, poise. And we'll see if it carries over to Kansas City. I don't think it will because he's playing that man. But I gotta applaud him for that.
You said that man. Who was that man?
That man.
You know who he is. You know who he is. That's why you saying that. You know who he is. Hey, but shout out to that boy T. Lawrence though for going to Waffle House after the game. That's major. That's the best spot. That's the best post game meal spot. Waffle House, baby. Go get that waffle. Go get that waffle sandwich, Jeremy.
Get that All-Star.
Hey, but another game we need to talk about is really Minnesota versus the Giants, bro. Bryce called it last episode. He said Minnesota was gonna be an early exit, bro. How you feel? How you feel about being right on your prediction?
I mean, I just keep racking them up, man. I said this was about a couple episodes ago. I was saying, I didn't have faith in this team, mostly just because of Kirk Cousins. And it really wasn't even his fault, to be honest. He just happened to play against Daniel Jones, who had a good game. He had a real good game. He had 301 passing yards and 78 rushing yards. I wouldn't have expected him to have almost 80 rushing yards. He was just showing that he is a little bit more versatile than we thought. But I feel like this team will always be limited when you go out there with Kirk Cousins as your starting quarterback. He is a serviceable quarterback, but he's not going to push you further. And I think that, until they address that, they're just going to have to deal with these problems. I know, it seems all cute and stuff during the season, you putting the chains on them and all that. But, this is what you're going to have to deal with for the rest of the offseason. It's over.
Then just signed a contract for 3-4 years.
He did, and they were stupid for doing it. Because it's just like it's like you just setting yourself up to be mediocre. Why give him the money like this when this is going to be the result? He's been in this situation before.
All right, so you're the manager of the Vikings. If not Kirk Cousins, if you don't pay Kirk Cousins, who else you go out and go get?
That's a good question.
I honestly don't know. But I mean, I feel like it's got to be some better options out there. I think me personally, I will say this. I don't know exactly who, but I think you should get somebody who's a little bit more mobile and can do some things that make the defense think a little bit. You got good wide receivers, so make them have to deal with maybe some run pass option, add some more versatility to the offense. The pocket passer in that situation, I feel like it just makes them kind of one dimensional. We know they're gonna pass the ball, we're gonna run the ball, but they ain't got nothing else to be looking out for.
Yeah, I feel like Kirk Cousins always been a mediocre quarterback. I never really felt like he was a star quarterback like the likes of Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, them type of guys. He ain't that. He never will be that because that's just him. But I feel like the defense ain't help him out either. That defense was horrible this year, bro, and just giving up points to teams that they shouldn't have gave up points to. 33 points to the Colts in the first half is crazy, bro. How you you got to be able to go point for point with teams when your defense doing that, son. So like, I feel like they ain't even really helping them out. The defense ain't helping them out enough this year like they were supposed to. But shout out to Jettas for the that crazy season he had this year. And boy, that was crazy.
He gotta go, man. If they don't franchise tag him, he better run, man. He better jet for real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I want to go to the other side of the ball. It was good to see Saquon playing in some playoff football, man. He showed out for real. As John said during the game, he looked like rookie Saquon.
That was me.
Yeah, I agree, though. I agree.
Excuse me, but yeah, he was looking good. So I think that it's gonna be a real big challenge for that team that they set to play next week. We can talk about them a little bit later, but I do think if they keep this up, it'll be a good game for sure.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk. Well, since we on it, let's talk about Philly. How y'all feel like Philly gonna play? Y'all think they're gonna come out being rusty? Jalen Hurts, he been out for the last 3 weeks of the season? With that shoulder.
I can out for rest.
Huh?
I think they set him out for rest just so it could be.
Yeah, 100%. He could have definitely. I feel like he could have played through it, but they just trying to be smart with it. But they asked him this week. They was like, do you think that the Giants gonna target your shoulder? And he was like, every time I step out on the field, I got a bounty on my head. So it is what it is. And honestly, he ain't lying. That's just what you sign up for when it comes to playing football. But as far as y'all, how the game gonna go, what y'all think? How y'all thinking it's gonna look?
I'm really scared for my Eagles, man. Just because towards the end of the, I said my Eagles because I picked them. I picked them to make the Super Bowl, so I'm saying my Eagles. That's my pick.
Wow.
But it's not my Eagles.
Hey, do as you please. Continue.
But like I say, I'm scared for my Eagles because like they haven't played, but I feel like them having that week off is not a good thing for them. I think that they needed to be playing some football because the way that they ended the season, like this is the same team, they dang near beat them without starting a lot of their players. Like the Giants are going to be a formidable opponent to like knock them off the throne. Like I feel like it's really going to be a test of just, I don't know, who wants it more, honestly. And the way that the Giants played last weekend, I think right now they really want it. So if the Eagles think that they just gonna wake up and win this game just because they're the Eagles, I think they're gonna have a bad thing coming for them.
If they want it, I don't think they're gonna get it. But I'm not saying that the Eagles should take them lightly because it's the playoffs. You can't take nobody lightly. Everybody's in the playoff, and it's fair game. So nobody push over anymore. It's any game is only one game, ain't no series. So when they go home, so Eagles better come out there with they best game, like they playing like they like depend on it, and they should expect a fight from the Giants because they go do as they please and try their hardest. Saquon, I expect him to have a great game. Daniel Jones, I don't expect him to have another game like he had. I think it's gonna be more of a 250-yard game for him and probably like a couple interceptions. On to the next game. So let's talk about the Bills and Miami.
All right. We could talk about Bills in Miami. I'll start it off first. Just saying, the Bills, but them boys was wrong for that. They really was supposed to beat them boys. It was, it was double-digit favorites. And, against a team that had a third-string quarterback, I expect the Bills to go out there and, handle them. And they won. That's good. The goal is always to win, but like if they want to make it to the Super Bowl, they got to clean it up because the turnovers on offense, the bad decisions. Josh Allen gonna have to clean it up. The defense gave up some plays, here and there, but it's really they just got to clean it up and play a full 60 minutes of football, especially if they want to beat teams like Kansas City and Cincinnati. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts on them. But I also want to give props to Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins, the way that they fought. Almost came out that game with a third-string quarterback. Nobody gave them a chance, and they stuck in there with one of the top teams in the league. So I give them that, credit to the Dolphins. But what y'all thought about the game?
I watched the game live, so I was gonna bite my fingernails the whole time because the Bills were and still are my pick to win the whole thing. So I was really nervous because they came out hot, and then Miami made a little push, and I'm surprised because Miami they should have had a few more touchdowns than they scored because they receivers dropped a whole lot of balls. I seen Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle drop key passes, wide open passes. Once they get the ball in their hands, they electric. So I definitely think they catch some balls, then it's a different game. So I think the Bills got away with the close what could have been their last game of the year. So but like you said, a win is a win, and they on to the next round. So it is what it is. Respect Miami though, because Scarlett Thompson, nobody expected him to have a good game, but he did. How you feel about it?
I mean, I've had those same fears about the Bills, but like I've been having them all year. I feel like the first part of that game, it was looking good, like you said, but like towards the end, it kind of just started showing me why I have so much doubt in this team, man. I feel like I don't think I have a change of heart as far as them making it to the Super Bowl or anything like that. I think they will make it to the Super Bowl, but I do think it's games like this where they fool around a little bit too much, and then you could get knocked out of it. So I think that they lock in a little bit more. I mean, it was the first playoff game, so I will give them some grace. But if they can lock in better, I think that they'll be okay.
Hey, I will say this though, people underestimate the loss that Von Miller was for their defense. They don't really got an elite edge rusher to come in and pressure quarterback, But moving on, let's move on to the Bills' opponent, the Cincinnati Bengals. They're gonna be playing each other this weekend, but let's just recap, their game against the Baltimore Ravens. Personally, for me, I just think that the Bengals, they're a good team offensively and defensively. They catch a lot of teams by surprise, and Joe Burrow just consistently shows why he's that dude week in and week out, along with Jamar Chase. That connection is so special, bro. Like it's crazy. But I just think for that game, we expected Cincinnati to go out there and handle their business against a Baltimore team with no Lamar Jackson. I think that game was more about how to, and I also thought, that Cincinnati was gonna be able to have a good lead on Baltimore as well, considering they played Tyler Huntley, but it just goes to show that Tyler Huntley really is not a bad backup, especially not in that system, that type of system that Baltimore thrives off of. That's a good backup for Lamar Jackson. I just think also about Baltimore, they just need to go ahead and pay Lamar Jackson, man. I'm seeing all this different, messages he's sending mixed messages. I mean, different messages to the team. Whether that's Instagram, or other ways. Him coming on and speaking about his injury. It just shows that him and the team aren't on the same page. And I think I honestly think that Baltimore needs Lamar because their offense is built around him. So much of their offense involves him. So like they need him. And I think that they need to get on the same page and ultimately give the man his money, And if I was Lamar and they wouldn't give me a guaranteed contract, I ain't playing. I want fully guaranteed, you know what I'm saying? Because of, the workload that he has to take on.
Yeah. I mean, I did say the game between the Ravens and the Bengals, I did say that it was going to be close. Now, I did come down to the last couple plays, so I just want to say, I did get that right. But I do think that, the Bengals, I think they look good for the most part. I think they played a team that had played them 2 weeks ago, and I think that they, kind of figured out, how they could stay in the game. And like you said, the quarterback that they have played with, like he's not a bad backup. Like he could be starting on some teams that if they didn't have a good quarterback themselves. So I feel like it was a good game. As far as the Bengals, I think you're gonna have a hard time beating Joe Burrow. I think any team that's facing him in the AFC, I feel like you're gonna have to be worried about that. And Josh Allen, I feel like he gonna meet his match this week. Cause I mean, I done seen Joe Burrow since the LSU days. I know he's not scared of the pressure. And I know what Josh Allen has done when there's been some pressure. Speaking of just going back, when he played my Texans, I know he's a totally different quarterback. But when they played them in the playoffs, he made a lot of different mistakes and just trying to do too much. And we've seen some of that this year, him doing too much, and it cost them games sometimes. So I think you can't do that against Joe Burrow because he's gonna capitalize on that. So we'll see what happens.
Well, quarterback that kind of was playing. I'm curious.
He played a quarterback that's not in the playoffs right now.
We take it there. All right. Anyways, first off, I want to just show some love to the Ravens. They came out. Nobody thought the game would have been that close, and it should have been even closer than it was because they was on the goal line. Then he went over with the ball, had fumbled, so that could have went either way, and that could have been got him over the hump, and ultimately would have won them the game. But we all know what happened after that. So we all know what Joe and Jamar do. We accustomed to seeing it since LSU, so we have plenty of experience and knowledge of what they can do on the field against anybody. We know he's not scared of pressure, but I think it'll come down to the others. And when I say others, I mean the players other than Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. We know what they like. We know what they can do on the field, but I think everybody else is gonna have to do, gonna have to step up, and whoever steps up better, that's who's gonna win, in my opinion. So I still think the Bills go pull it off because they have more pieces, in my opinion, all around, and ultimately will win the game. But I'm gonna backpedal again to the Ravens. I think the Ravens have their new starting quarterback in Tyler Huntley because it just shows that they don't have to pay Lamar, and Lamar, I'm taking it as disrespect because you're saying basically that y'all don't need me in a way because they could have been paid Lamar, bro. But now after seeing this, if I'm manager, I'm like, hey, we got some here talent. He do the same thing that Lamar can do, but just Lamar do it fancier and at better clips, but it's essentially the same. So why take a risk and pay this dude all this money, and we got to worry about him getting hurt when we could just pay him, and pay him for less and allow one of the best quarterbacks to go, which would be a stupid decision. I say, of course, pay Lamar Jackson, which he deserves, the bank, like John loved to say, break the bank for him because, MVP, he young, he's one of a kind. Nobody has ever seen anybody like him in the league, so why not pay him? But, they owners stubborn with the money, they don't want to pay him, So I'm Lamar, if they don't want to pay me, I'm gone out of there. It's like John said, I'm not going to play unless it's fully guaranteed. So if they don't want to handle all the business, hey, let them go. And y'all go see what y'all have in Tyler Huntley, and y'all go have to deal with that. That's y'all hands. But
yeah, 100%. I agree with both of y'all. I will say one last thing before we had to break. The only thing that concerns me about the Buffalo Bills is that they're down with 3 starters on the offensive line. So it's going to be interesting to see how well those backups are able to hold the pocket for Joe Burrow. We know that, Joe Burrow has been one to get hit a lot, many a times due to bad old line. So that's going to be a key factor that we need to pay attention to this week in that game, because that may decide the game. But I'm gonna roll with the Bengals. I think, like Brax said, Josh Allen gonna meet his match this week. Joe Burrow is that dude, bro. Like I can't deny that fact. And Josh Allen ain't been playing his best ball, so I think Joe gonna edge him a little bit this week.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. That's why I'm placing my bets. I'm placing my bets.
I think it'll come out to the wire, though. I think it'll be a shootout for sure. But ultimately, I think the Bills go put it out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, after this break, we're going to come back. We're going to talk a little NBA. Brian making big news. The Grizzlies doing their thing. Y'all don't want to miss it, man. We're going to be back. Welcome to the world of sport.
Get your bag of chips. Brian, my favorite segment of the show.
What are you talking about, Brian?
Nigga, he passed 38,000 points, nigga.
The
The fuck you
second
mean?
player in history to do that. Youngest player ever.
You said second player in the
No,
history?
first and the youngest nigga.
Oh.
He the youngest second player in history to get 38,000.
Yeah, 316 points. Well, actually, less than 316 points away from passing the all-time record.
He gonna get that in about 12, 13 more games.
I say a little less. He doing our 50 bones. Doing our 50 bones. Hey, boy. See, let's start, man. Come on, shit. Let's get the bro.
Right.
I got it.
All right.
I got it. Hey, y'all, we back from break. Now it's time to talk about one of the best segments of the show. LeBron James. We all know what LeBron does on the court, but he's made a big accomplishment and close to it, passing the all-time scoring record. So we want to talk about him passing the 38,000 mark and just how amazing LeBron is. Anybody want to start?
I'll start. Yeah, bro. Like Brian, it just goes to show the type of longevity that he's been able to have and been able to play at a high level. This man, like year in, year out, he don't disappoint, bro. He's never really had a disappointing season. And, he made it to the finals 9 straight times. He's a 4-time MVP. Like, the list just goes on and on. And I think, it's going to be hard to deny him, the greatest ever. I already think he's the greatest ever. But once he eclipsed that record of being the most, the best scorer this league has ever seen, it's going to be hard to deny that from him of being the best player, especially when he came into the league as a player who was primarily a passer. He ain't even looked to score the ball. And to be able to do this, within his career, it's nothing short of amazing, bro. So I just want to give him his flowers and, give love to the GOAT as it should be.
Man.
I want to give love too.
To the GOAT.
To the GOAT. Yeah. To the GOAT. I would say, I'm happy to see, him reaching these milestones, his older age, coming out here, showing these young bucks that he still can do it. I think it's, amazing to see the fact that he can even, put up 50 points, at this, like I said, at this age, it's just crazy. But I do have one thing that I will say that y'all might not agree with, but I do think, I don't know if I feel comfortable with us using this term like the greatest scorer ever, even if he passed. Not if he passed, when he passes. Just because, let's talk about it. So if hold on, one second. If I go today, let's say, and I score 20 points in the game, right? That's not funny. I've done it before. Let's talk about it. I scored 20 points in the game. Eddie scores 15 points.
Hey, but no.
No.
If you score 20, bro,
no.
I'm scoring at least 53.
If he scored 15, I scored 20. John scored 10, right? I'm just saying. Right. But because I had the most points, it's a lot of things. Maybe I was getting open shots. Maybe I was getting set up in a position where I was right there. I'm just saying, just because he got the most of something, that don't make you the best at doing it. I think it's people that are better scorers than him. Obviously, he's not really trying to be a scorer, but I think at the same time, I just don't want to use that term. Let's just say he's got the most points. But let's not say best scorer. Like I don't even think he want to be called that.
I don't think so. I ain't mad at you on that tape because like we all know nobody can stop LeBron from scoring. We all know that. So that's why people go put him in that category for best scorer of all time. Now, even he can still be considered being a best scorer, but I say what argument comes in is the most skilled.
Yeah.
I think skill-wise, we can say the KD, the Kobe, and even Kyrie as the most skilled.
Don't leave out Steph, boy. You tripping.
Stop.
Don't leave out Steph, boy. Stop that, bro. You can't do that, bro. Yeah.
Curry, he can have that, but we're not doing that. We're talking about skill, like
bro.
running around the whole game.
You think shooting threes from half court don't require skill, bro?
Yes, bro. I'm saying he got shooting, like he got everything shooting while he got that, bro.
Finishing at the rim too, bro. He can finish at the basket too, bro. Don't do that,
bro. About finishing, we don't think Curry, bro. Be honest. We think
I do. Yeah. I do. He can do it all, bro. It's not a shot on that.
Anyway. before they start, talking about Curry. When we talk about LeBron, like Brax said, we don't think of scoring. We think of like the flashy passes, the playmaking, the ability. But nobody can stop Brown when he's trying to go to the goal, and everybody know that. But I say that he isn't the most skilled. I get that's either Kobe, KD. MJ was just all around, so I don't know what to classify MJ as because I think I don't think he was the most skilled scorer, but gotta get MJ his flaws as well. But it's not about him right now. It's about LeBron James. LeBron James, you that guy. 38,000 man, the youngest to do it. He just continues to be great at 38 years old. That's crazy. 38,000 points at 38 is crazy. He the youngest to reach this in history. He the only second to the person he's about to pass up on the list in Kareem. And Kareem, I think Kareem honestly gonna be salty because that's the only record he got now that LeBron hasn't passed. So he hold on to that with everything he got. So I think it'll be a very sad day for Kareem and LeBron passing him in that stance, and he wasn't even trying to, as he said, because we all know he likes to get his teammates involved because everybody's keying in on LeBron. So LeBron I want to give you your flowers, man. Continue to be great and the player you are. Despite all the critics, man, we know you to go. Nothing else to say. So let's move on to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies on a hot streak. 11 games, after Jordan came out and put all the pressure on him. So how y'all feel about Jordan boys, man?
Hey, they legit championship contenders, bro. I ain't about to sit here in front. The only diamond run on their team, bro, they legit championship contenders because it's hard to stop him as well, especially when he going down here at the rim, bro. Anybody liable to get dunked on if they join with that man. Just like he said, if you want to go viral, join with him because he going to get it done. So, yeah, I just think that they legit championship contenders with him on his team, bro, because that dude, he on another level.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I think that they've turned it around since we was last talking about them on this show, and they look like they're. I mean, as the season has went on, they progressed, and I felt like they would eventually. So I think they are a team to look out for. Would I say that they are the team that I would fear the most in the West? I can't say that yet. I think it's just a good stretch of games for them, and I think that we'll judge their season based off what's to come. They had a good regular season last year, so we'll see what they do in the playoffs.
Everything goes up in the playoffs, so if they can continue to play like this in the playoffs, then I say they're dangerous. But until then, I want to see them keep winning and keep building that chemistry and backing up their talk because they talk a lot, so they got to back it up, man. And, with Ja, he finally completing all these almost dunks, so I'm happy to see that because we got a lot of people that should have been on the posters, but I guess he's making his rounds again because he got a lot of people already, man. So I guess that was one of his New Year's resolution goals. So he definitely doing that, starting up great. So can't wait to see who next in the list. Hope make Brown.
Yeah. So that's all we got for the NBA section right now. After we come back, we're gonna start off with and end with our favorite segment, as always, the Black Spotlight. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all know who y'all want to do? I know what I'm doing.
Then Chuck Palomino get inducted, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Doing Martin Luther King.
All right.
I had a dream.
Y'all ready? All right, welcome back. Y'all already know it's time for the Black Spotlight, you heard me? So I'm gonna go first. This week I'm gonna spotlight Stephen A. Smith. I just want to give Stephen A. Smith his flowers. He recently came out with a new book, Straight Shooter. I haven't read it yet, but I plan on purchasing it and buying it. And I ain't really a big reader, but I'm a big fan of Stephen A. Smith, because he went through a lot to get to where he was, and he really is kind of like my motivation to keep going, every day and trying to make it with the sports stuff because, I want to be in that same position that he in, not only because, the money's good, but, you make a lot of connections when you a person of his stature, and a lot of people. And so I just want to give him his flowers and thank him for being my motivation, and I look forward to reading his book when I get a chance to get it. So, yeah.
Most definitely, man. I look up Stephen A. as well, and as soon as I heard about the book, I've been looking and seeing where I can find that. So, definitely want to get it soon and hear his story. I heard bits and pieces, but I never really got into his whole background. So I'm excited to get the book and see where it all started and how it became the person he is today, and a great sports analyst that he is. So, I want to give you your flowers. For me personally, today I picked my Black Spotlight. I picked Troy Polamalu. Recently just inducted into the Hall of Fame along with Andre Johnson and a couple other of my favorite players. Troy Polamalu was one of the greatest safeties ever, one of the hardest hitting safeties in the league. Smart, everybody loved him. He wasn't in no controversy. He really just kept his head down and played, and that's what it's all about. Just playing the game that you love, and going out there with your brothers and just playing your heart out and playing exceptionally well, just like he did. He was like the quarterback for that defense, and it was strong league wide, and he was well respected. And we want to respect him and give him his flowers today. So, in my Black Spotlight.
My Black Spotlight for this week, we just came off the holiday weekend this past weekend, is Martin Luther King Jr. I feel like it's so many things I could say just to say his impact on life in general, not even just on the Black community, but just on life in general. Just for us to be able to go to school the way that we do, for us to be able to, see our favorite people on TV the way that we do, and socializing with all people of all different races and walks of life. Just his impact on our country and the world in general is just so amazing. And I thank him for everything that he's ever done for us, because a lot of the civil rights movements and stuff that he was a part of is reasons why we can do a lot of the things that we're able to do today. And I appreciate him so much, and I'm thankful that we can celebrate Martin Luther King Day. And that's my Black Spotlight for this week.
Yes, indeed. 1,000%. He played a big role to getting us where we are today as a people. Not even as, as Black people, but as, as a world, the world as a whole. So yeah, 100%. I just want to give a shout out to all the people that continue to watch us week in and week out. The support means a lot, just because, y'all stick with us, as we continue to grow this and become better at this, so I just want to say thank you to them. And also, I think it's time that we got to try to get some guests on here, and talk to some good people, so we could get the fans, something to look forward to. Y'all boys got anything y'all want to say before we wrap it up?
I want to say I thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next week, and like John said, we're gonna have some interesting people on here. So y'all stay tuned for that.
I had a dream one day.
Man, we out here, man.
Respect, man. One love. Y'all keep watching. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Shimmy.
Oh boy, yeah, hilarious, bro.